Morning everyone. So as promised, today we're going to talk about loading. Okay, now there's a few things that I want you to take away from this. The first thing is tendons, right? If you have got problems with a tendon, hamstring insertion, pes anserinus, your patella tendon or your Achilles tendon or your plantar fascia, okay? They're all non-contractile structures. And the only way, not the only, well, the main way that they will get better is by loading. I cannot tell you how many patients have come back to me and said, as soon as I did my exercises, they've got better. Okay, so that is your takeaway message. I can't make a tendon better for you. I can help you find out what's caused it. I can release any tight structures that are above it and that are putting it on stress. However, the final phase of getting that tendon better is up to you, and you have to load it. So loads of my patients have gone away and said, oh, it's better when I've done my exercises. So I think this is probably the most important phase out of all the three that we're going to talk about. If you miss this phase out, your injury will recur because the area of the body will not be strong enough to cope with your sport again. So please take a note of this one. I'm not going to show you loads and loads of different exercises. What I'm actually going to talk you through is some principles of loading. And a really nice thing to do at the moment, obviously some people have got a bit more time on their hands, people aren't doing quite as much intense running, is try another form of exercise. You could try a Pilates class. Actually, lots of the local Pilates teachers around here are putting their classes online. And they're breaking them down into an easier version. So if you've never done a Pilates class and you want to start, it's not going to be the cure to all your injuries. However, it will start helping you to identify whether you've got weakness on one side or the other. When you go into a bridge in a Pilates class, can you lift one leg or can you do it on the other? Is your glute weak on one side or is it, weak on the other? And these are lots of different ways. When we run, we use our whole body, and it's very, very hard to tell how the body's working. When we do another form of exercise, like Pilates, it's actually looking at sort of what individual muscles are doing, working them together as well, with the core. But you're a bit more focused on one specific area of the body at a time. So that's a really, really nice way of identifying. Do you need to do more do you need to strengthen one side? Okay, so how do we start? Right, the most important thing when you start loading an injury is that it doesn't hurt. Okay, so you need to start with the most basic exercises you can think of. Okay, start off by non-weight bearing. Start off by sitting on the floor or lying on the floor. Okay, you can start if you've got a hamstring problem, you can start by lying on your back and just pushing the leg into the bed. You can then start doing a glute bridge, just lifting your pelvis up off the floor. You can then make it a bit harder by doing a one leg glute bridge. That's the first step. The other way, if you've got something like an Achilles problem, start off with two legs on the flat. Don't go straight into one leg calf raises on a step and eccentric loading. It'll aggravate the Achilles, and then you'll think, oh, the exercises are making it worse. Of course they'll make it worse because you can't, the injury isn't able to cope with the exercises that you're giving it. So the first thing for me is start very, very simple. Start easy. Start with two legs. Start non-weight bearing, and just make it easy depending on the area of the body. And then once it feels okay at that level, then you think, right, okay, well let's see if it's a calf raise. Can I do it on one leg on the flat? Okay, yeah, I can do that. That's okay. Now, if we think about the calf and think about function of the calf, when do we think we're going to be able to run? Okay, you're able to do two-legged calf raises on the flat, fine. That's not enough to allow you to run, right? Okay, but suddenly I can do some one-legged calf raises and I can do 3 lots of 20 one-leg calf raises on the flat. Okay, well that's okay. That might be enough to allow me to sort of fast walk or very gentle jog. If you want to do anything faster after you've damaged your calf, you need to be able to hop. Okay, so if your calf or your Achilles isn't allowing you to hop, you will not be able to run faster. So think about the function of the exercises that you're doing to progress it. Okay, if you've got problems with the patella tendon, don't go straight into eccentric loading on a step, on a downhill slope. That's the sort of the ultimate exercise for the patella tendon. However, you need to work up to it. You need to start off by doing 2 leg squats, 1 leg squats, and then you can do 2 leg squats on a downhill slope, and then 1 leg squats, and then you think, okay, now it's coping with a bit more loading. Okay, so we've gone from 2 leg to 1 leg on the ground to sort of standing. You know, if we've got a very, very acute Achilles or calf, a nice way of doing it is just to sit and just do some calf raises on a step. You don't actually have to be standing. Then what do? We then load things. And yes, we're already loading, but when I say load, the term we're using now is to add a weight, okay? You don't actually have to have weights at home. You know, I've seen loads of great videos. People are lifting the dogs, they're lifting all sorts of things. You can practice with the kids. You know, you can put your kids on your back, whatever. Obviously not if it's an 18 stone sort of rugby player child, then please don't put them on your back. But you know, you've just got to sort of be a little bit inventive, and you know, the final phase is actually just to get some weight on it. There's lots and lots of different research out there about loading, and it all depends on how acute the problem is. If you can tolerate some, you know, there's lots of sort of talk about isometric, isotonic, eccentric. I think the key is, if you can make your weight, your loading progressive, there's all the research is sort of saying, yes, this works, that works, the other works. I think the key is just make it progressive. We can use the low level stuff just to sort of take the pain away, and that's a really nice starting point, just to sort of start just very, very gently, you know, loading and just taking some of the pain away. And actually low level exercises are a really great way of getting rid of discomfort. So I think that's really sort of today's message is things need to be progressive. You need to do it. If you don't do it, it's not going to get better. And I think just think about your body. It's nice. It's a nice time now. Just try some calf raises. Try some single leg calf raises. Try some single leg dips. Try some step ups. Try some lunges, and get a feel. Oh, my left side feels terrible. So I think at the moment, well, I'm not running as hard. I'm going to do some work on it. And, you know, your basic circuit exercises are quite often the starting point for starting to load an injury again. So we can have a little bit more of a look at specific specific loading exercises for specific areas. And if anybody's got any requests, please let me know, because we can start going on to actual injuries now. Okay, take care, folks.